a native Washingtonian and have been listening to WPFW since its inception. And I just want to say that you started off apologizing for how you treated your family members. And I don't think there's any excuse for it. If in fact you can ask us as the community for money to support you, then I don't see any reason why you couldn't have had the same kind of town meeting to discuss the kind of changes that you as your mission. I mean, none of us are taking away what your position is, but you certainly have the power and the ability to call your family together to talk about the challenges that you see coming down the road. That's first. And we're Jazz and Justice radio station, but this was not just. If you had a family crisis and you call your family together and you say, we're going to do this, this, and this, and then suddenly you decide you're not going to have that dinner, that gathering, and you don't bother to tell people until they're on your doorstep, oh, well, I decided we canceled that dinner, and I forgot to tell you about it, and I'm sorry if you're offended, or if you spent too much money to get here. At any rate, you did offend your audience, and you offended programmers, people who were in tears on the air. So you say you haven't done anything on purpose, but this was very purposeful. And if in fact you had other things in place to put in their place, then you had to have had a plan. And that means you had time to share it, at least with the staff, prior to your movement. Okay. I have noticed over the years that we are doing less and less jazz. Now, it's a jazz and justice station. I'm not saying there shouldn't be other kinds of music. I miss the music of the world. Somebody else already said that they would turn on the radio on Friday night, or they would turn and listen all day long. That's absolutely so. And there used to be a time when you could hear jazz throughout the whole day. And the fact that you are taking key pieces of what people do support, some of your longtime programmers who are professional, who everybody loves hearing, I think it's just amazing. You talked about having a diversity, yet you cut the largest population growth of Hispanic listeners. You cut all their programming down. And I don't even see how you could have done that in conscience when you say you want to address a new population. Instead of cutting Hispanic programming, programming for American Indians, programming for other countries, Caribbeana, etc., you have now cut that and instead put in place programs that can be, by your own words, gotten elsewhere, because these same programs are offered someplace else. So, and if they aren't, then that means you had time to develop programs to come on the air in the spots of the people you removed.
Thank you.
I think if you check the numbers, that your audience and your support has dwindled in direct relationship to the loss of the jazz music. I know musicians who no longer phone in their support because they don't hear their music or their genre of music played on the air. That is not garnering new support or support from the community. Okay.
Can I just interrupt you real quick just to make this point? The spiral downward began long before I got here.
Yes, I'm not saying that it didn't.
Long before I got here.
As I said, I have noticed over the years that the jazz music has been cut. I'm not directly relating that to this move, but this move certainly is one that obviously has moved all of us to say, wait a minute, this far and no further. Now, I'm not trying to tell you how to outrun the station because obviously I'm not equipped to do that. But my suggestion would be, if you have a problem with training, and you also want to bring in younger people, then why don't we think about spawning a second station that would receive university support, foundation support, and train these younger people, and have some of these programs that you want to have on the air, which would bring double, it would have a two-pronged effect. You'd have all your supporters who want to hear jazz and justice radio, and then you'd have this new station, which the technology would permit you to do, even out of the same building, and bring in this new blood and this new focus that you think ought to be done. But that doesn't mean to get rid of the things that are currently working for your public.
When we finally move, our strategic determination, frankly, is to build a multicast platform where we can have simultaneous content streams in addition to the main channel. But we're not there yet. The station doesn't have the technology. That has to be built out. We have to figure out a way to finance that, but that's actually in our strategic plan.
Okay, if that's true, and it's in your strategic plan, then why don't these people know about it? There is no reason, if you can ask us for money, if you ask us for our support, if you ask us to volunteer when you have a fund drive, then I do not understand why you did not ask us what we thought before you made those changes. Not saying that you wouldn't have still made the same changes, but you at least would have heard this before you made them. Okay.